It was a Friday evening, nothing out of the ordinary. Just the conclusion of another exhausting week, my hands stained with grease, surrounded by tools and broken down engines. I've been a diesel mechanic since I was 22. When you work at a small truck repair shop in Louisville, Kentucky, Friday nights aren't for grabbing drinks with the guys. It's about heading home, taking a painfully long shower, eating something unhealthy, and collapsing into bed by 10. That was always the plan. I pulled into the driveway around 6:15 p.m. The sun was still lingering but slowly fading, a late summer evening where the intense heat finally begins to soften after baking the earth all day. The first thing I noticed was the trash bin still sitting by the curb. Chelsea always texts me if I forget to bring it in, but that night, nothing. No, hey babe, don't forget the trash. No, pick up milk. Not even her usual kissy face emoji. As I stepped inside, the house was unnervingly silent. No television humming, no Bluetooth speaker blasting Taylor Swift like she always does when she's cooking. Just the low, steady hum of the refrigerator and the relentless ticking of the kitchen clock. That was all. I found her standing by the stove with her back to me, arms tightly crossed. She was staring down at a pot of water that hadn't even begun to boil. When I walked in, she barely turned her head. "Hey," she said flatly, without a trace of a smile. "Hey," I replied. She told me dinner would be ready soon, pasta, but that she was really tired. No hug, no kiss, not even real eye contact. Just this cold, detached energy that felt completely wrong. Chelsea and I have been together for 10 years, married for 6. We have a 7-year-old daughter, Aubrey, who means the entire world to me. But even before that night, I could feel something shifting between us. She had grown more distant, less affectionate. Every touch felt obligatory, every kiss like she was just going through the motions. You try to convince yourself not to assume the worst. Life gets difficult. People get worn out, right? Especially nurses. Chelsea works night shifts at Youthful Health, constantly moving between the ER and Med-SURG. I know she's exhausted. I always try to be understanding. That's what a good husband does. But that night, it was different. She wasn't just tired. She was completely checked out. We ate dinner mostly in silence. She asked me about work, but in that absent-minded way people do when they aren't really listening, just filling the empty space. When I asked about her day, she gave a generic, fine, long shift and quickly changed the subject to her Aunt Tanya, who was still staying with us after her gallbladder surgery. I never really liked Tanya. She was one of those overly flirty types who tries too hard with her jokes. Once, she even said to me, "You sure your wife knows what she has at home?" with a wink that made me deeply uncomfortable. I brushed it off. Family is family, after all. After we finished eating, I offered to clean up. She quickly said, "No, it's fine. You can relax tonight." Except it wasn't kind. It was a sharp, dismissive, "Nah, I got it," like she didn't want me anywhere near her. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, sank into the couch, and mindlessly scrolled through TikTok to pass the time. Around 9:30, I glanced over at her. She was sitting at the dining table, scrolling through her phone with headphones in. She didn't look up or say a word to me, just kept typing. The glow from the screen lit up her face, and every now and then, a faint, strange smile would appear. That's when I noticed her phone lighting up over and over. She kept flipping it face down quickly, almost nervously. I didn't ask. I didn't say anything, but I saw it. At 10:10, she finally stood up, stretched, and said, "Babe, I'm beat. You go on up to bed first. I'll clean up down here and be in soon." That was weird. She never says that. Normally, I'm the one who falls asleep early. She's always been the night owl, binge-watching shows or scrolling on her phone until midnight. Still, I just said, "All right." I kissed her on the cheek, which she barely leaned into, and headed upstairs. I got to the bedroom, lay down on the bed, but couldn't relax. I didn't even take my boots off at first. Something about her whole vibe just stuck with me. You know that gut feeling? The one that doesn't scream, but quietly whispers that something is very wrong. That's exactly how it felt. I got up and peeked through the blinds. The porch light was still on. She always turns it off by 9, like clockwork. I sat back down and checked the time. 10:38. Still no sound from downstairs. That's when little things started clicking into place. Earlier that week, I'd caught a faint scent of cologne on one of her hoodies when I was doing laundry. She swore it was from hugging a male patient. Last weekend, she claimed she had a mandatory meeting, but her nurse friend Morgan posted a story from a rooftop bar downtown, and Chelsea was right there in the background. I didn't say anything then. I thought maybe I was overthinking it. Now, I wasn't so sure. I texted her, "Everything okay down there?" No response. I waited. 5 minutes passed. Still no footsteps. No sound at all. Just the low whir of the fan. And then, just as I was about to go down and check myself, I heard it. A soft, gentle knock. Not Chelsea's knock. I sat up, confused. "Chels." I called out. Nothing. I walked over and slowly opened the door. And there she was. Tanya. Standing there in a long t-shirt and socks, no makeup, no smirk, just eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. She leaned her head against the doorframe and whispered, "Hey, can I come in for a second?" Now, I know what you're thinking. But this isn't that kind of story. This wasn't about sex. It wasn't some twisted aunt-nephew scenario. That knock wasn't seduction. It was a warning. And my world was about to be turned completely upside down. When I opened the door and saw Tanya standing there, I swear my first reaction wasn't even confusion. It was straight up discomfort. I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't ready. It felt inappropriate instantly. She was wearing one of those oversized sleep shirts women love, the kind that says something like "coffee first, talk later." Her arms were crossed, and she looked genuinely nervous, not flirty or playful like usual. No mascara, no jewelry, not even socks. It was like she'd just come from having a panic attack. I rubbed my eyes, still half out of it. "Tanya, what's going on?" She bit her lip and glanced down the hallway like she was making sure no one else was around. "I'm sorry," she said. I didn't know what else to do. I needed to tell you something." I stepped aside and let her in, still completely unsure what was happening. She sat on the edge of the bed, and I stayed standing, keeping my distance. I wasn't comfortable. The whole situation felt fragile, like one wrong word could make everything explode. Tanya looked up at me with unblinking eyes. "James," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I heard Chelsea on the phone tonight. She's cheating on you." Just like that. No build-up. No hesitation. My first reaction was to laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it felt impossible. I actually chuckled and rubbed my face like I was trying to wake up from a bad dream. "Come on, Tanya." "Really?" She didn't smile. She didn't blink. She just said, "I'm not playing. I have proof." Now I was wide awake. She pulled her phone from the pocket of her shirt, opened the Ring app, and turned the screen toward me. There was a saved clip, time-stamped 10:11 p.m. I watched the porch light cast a glow across our backyard. And then, on the edge of the screen, Chelsea walked out. She was on her phone, pacing. Then a man walked into the frame, tall, bearded, someone I'd never seen before. He walked up like he'd done it before. Confident. Comfortable. Chelsea looked around once, then kissed him hard, like it wasn't their first time. I felt the back of my throat burn. My heart didn't even race. It just dropped. Tanya put the phone down and looked up at me. "That's Brian. He's not just her work buddy. They've been talking for weeks." I heard her say his name last night when she was in the kitchen. I just stared at the wall. I felt my hands ball into fists without even realizing it. This was the woman I built a life with. The woman I bought a house with. We split bills. We raised our daughter together. I gave her every ounce of patience I had when she worked nights, when she was moody, when she wasn't in the mood. I carried the emotional weight for months without complaint. And this is what she did. It was like someone stabbed me in the chest, but slowly, the kind of pain that doesn't kill you, just eats you from the inside out. Tanya stood up slowly. "I don't want to make this worse," she said. "But you deserve to know the truth before she plays you any further. She's been planning something behind your back." "Planning what?" She hesitated. Then she dropped another bomb. I overheard her say she was going to wait until after Aubrey's birthday to ask for a separation to make it look clean. She said she wanted to do it on her terms so you wouldn't screw things up financially. My jaw clenched. This wasn't just infidelity anymore. This was manipulation. Strategy. She was playing chess with my life while I was just trying to be a decent husband and father. I sat down on the edge of the bed. My legs felt like jelly. Tanya stepped back, giving me space. She wasn't trying to get close or be weird. She looked almost as angry as I felt. I know I've joked around before, James, she said. But I never wanted to get in the middle of anything. I just can't sit by and watch her burn down your life while you're in the dark. I nodded slowly, still unable to speak. She grabbed her phone, took a breath, and said, "I'll pack my things. I'll stay at a hotel for the rest of the week. I don't want to be here when this blows up. But listen to me. Don't confront her right now. Don't yell. Don't break things. Don't lose your cool. Be smart. Be cold. Let her walk into her own fire." And with that, she left. I sat there for a long time. I kept replaying that video, watching my wife, kiss another man in our backyard like it was nothing. Like I didn't exist. Like the vows we made in front of 80 people at Lake Forest Church didn't matter. Like I hadn't stayed up all night last winter fixing her flat tire in the snow just so she could make it to work. Like the years we spent struggling to pay off our first car loan meant absolutely nothing. It was the disrespect that hit the hardest. Not even the betrayal. It was the fact that she thought I was stupid. That she thought I'd never notice. That I'd just keep living like nothing was wrong. And honestly, that might have been true if Tanya hadn't knocked.
At exactly 12:06 a.m., I heard the front door creak open. Then her footsteps coming up the stairs, slow, casual. The bedroom door opened. Chelsea walked in holding her phone. No guilt on her face. No shame. She smiled and said, "Hey, sorry." I fell asleep on the couch watching a movie.
"You out cold already." I didn't say a word. Just nodded and laid back down. She slipped into bed like nothing had happened. That moment right there, that silence, that's when something inside me snapped. Not in a violent way. Not in a scream until the cops come kind of way. It was quiet, controlled. The moment I knew I'd never look at her the same again. I laid next to her and stared at the ceiling fan, just like I had earlier. But now I was a different man. And in that darkness, I started planning. I didn't sleep that night, not even a minute. Chelsea snored next to me like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just come home from kissing another man behind my back. It was wild, laying there in the same bed under the same roof with a woman who had no idea she'd just been caught. But I wasn't going to explode. That's what she probably expected. A loud fight. Maybe me crying, begging, accusing her in the middle of the night. Nah, that would have given her power. Given her a chance to twist the story, flip it back on me. I've seen what happens when guys react emotionally. They end up looking like the bad guy. I wasn't playing that game. Instead, I got up at 6 a.m. sharp, before she even opened her eyes. I showered, dressed, made coffee, and left the house without saying a word. And that's when it began, the calm before the cold storm. That Saturday morning, I drove straight to my buddy Travis's house over in Jeffersontown. Travis is one of those guys who doesn't say much, but always knows what to do. I told him everything. He didn't interrupt. Just handed me a coffee and let me speak. When I was done, he said, "You need to lawyer up quietly and get your ducks in a row." And that's exactly what I did. By Monday, I had met with a divorce attorney in Lexington, a no BS guy named Matthew Clean, referred by Travis's cousin, who went through a similar thing. We sat down in his office, and I told him the whole story from start to finish. Matt didn't flinch. "You've got a good case," he said. "And if you keep your head on straight, you can walk away clean, protect your daughter, and not lose a damn thing." He helped me pull every financial record, tax returns, mortgage statements, credit card balances. He even instructed me to open a new checking account at a separate bank, one Chelsea had no clue about. I started quietly transferring my direct deposits. I changed the passwords to everything that was mine, email, Apple ID, my tool supplier accounts, all of it. I also moved most of my sentimental stuff, photo albums, my dad's old pocket knife, my autographed baseball from the '94 Reds season, to a locked bin in the back of my truck. One thing I've learned, when it all goes down, it's always the little things that get destroyed first. And I didn't say a word to Chelsea. She started noticing I was acting different, quieter, calmer, distant. One night, she leaned on the kitchen counter while I was doing dishes and asked, "Are you okay? You've been kind of off lately." I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Just tired." "That's all." She bought it. It was weird. The more silent I got, the more she started trying. Like she could feel something slipping away. She began texting me cute things again. Started saying "I love you" more than usual. One night, she even made my favorite meal, pulled pork sliders with homemade coleslaw. And I just smiled, said thanks, and barely touched my plate. Let her squirm. Let her wonder. 3 weeks passed. I had all the documents ready. My lawyer had drawn up the divorce papers. The custody agreement was clear. Joint custody, split holidays, financials locked. My accounts were secure. My new lease was signed. All I had to do now was leave. But I wanted her to feel it. Not with a fight, not with a goodbye. I wanted the silence to be the message. So I waited for the perfect day. That Friday, Chelsea worked a 12-hour shift and came home late. She barely spoke a word and went straight to bed. That night, after she fell asleep, I walked through the house slowly, looking at it one last time. The dining table we bought on Facebook Marketplace when we were broke. The dent in the wall from where Aubrey tripped playing tag. The photo of us at Myrtle Beach hanging crooked in the hallway. This wasn't just a house. It was 10 years of memories. But now it just felt hollow, like I didn't belong there anymore. Like I was haunting my own life. At 3:15 a.m., I walked out the front door, locking it behind me. And I never went back. Chelsea woke up to an empty house. My clothes gone. My tools in the garage gone. My framed photos gone. My name on the joint bank account deleted. And on the kitchen table, right where she left her purse every night, I placed an envelope. Inside was a copy of the divorce papers and a short note, handwritten, calm. No insults, no yelling. Just the truth. I stayed quiet so you could expose yourself. You lied, used me, and thought I'd stay stupid. Now I'm gone, and the silence is yours to live with. Good luck. My phone started blowing up around 9:45 a.m. First a missed call, then a text, then another. "James, where are you? Did you go somewhere? What's happening? This isn't funny. Call me." I didn't answer. Around noon, I got one more. "You left? Are you serious? I was going to talk to you soon. We were just having a rough patch. You didn't even give me a chance. This is not okay." I smiled at that one. Because finally, she realized she had lost the game she thought she was controlling. 2 days later, her Aunt Tanya texted me. "She's freaking out. She told her mom you abandoned her. I told her she abandoned you first. She didn't like that." A week later, Brian tried texting me from a burner number. "Man to man, you didn't have to ghost her like that. Be mature." I blocked him without even reading the rest. Because maturity is exactly what I used. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I didn't hit. I didn't cheat back. I just left. And trust me, that silence is the loudest punishment she'll ever feel. Today, I'm renting a 2-bedroom place over in Owensboro, about 2 hours west. It's smaller, but it's peaceful. Aubrey stays with me every other weekend and one night a week. We go fishing, ride bikes, eat cheap pizza, and laugh a lot more than we used to. She's happier. I'm calmer. I sleep better. Chelsea still sends me long texts now and then. "I miss us. I messed up. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were such a good man." But I don't reply. Not because I'm bitter, but because I'm free. And I'll never go back to being someone's option again.